Hey, how are you today? I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Business School and the Black Wealth Bootcamp. I've been a finance professor for about 23 years. I've taught at the University of Kentucky, Indiana University, the Ohio State University, Syracuse University, the University of Rochester, the Shanghai University of Finance and Economics in China, as well as a bunch of other places and a ton of classes. I before ever becoming a finance professor, I was always a black man, and I've always been concerned about the black community and making sure that black people have what they need when it comes to wealth building and economic protectionism, avoiding what I call economic bullying, which is why I actually created a lecture called the Rules of Economic Self-Defense, which you can find out about at economicselfdefense.net. That's economicselfdefense.net. Now, one of the things that I say to people and some people don't believe me. They just really think that I'm just, blowing smoke, that I'm just trying to, sell people a pipe dream. I tell them, look, poverty is not a permanent state of mind or a permanent state of existence anyway. It can be a permanent state of mind if you choose for it to be. But there's no rule saying that you have to be poor. There's no rule saying that where you started is where you got to end up. There's no rule saying that white people have to do better than black people. There's no rule saying that you can't go do the same thing that everybody else is doing when it comes to going out here and figuring out where the money is. Now, again, as a finance professor and it was somebody with a PhD in finance, I've derived all the equations that relate to how money grows. Albert Einstein once said that the eighth wonder of the world is compound interest. He said, "He who understands it will earn it. He who does not understand it will pay it to the people who understand it." Now, what does that mean? That means that if you don't understand money, if you are not financially intelligent, then you are going to be exploited by the people who are. If you don't prepare your children to be financially intelligent, then you are throwing your children out into the fire so they have the same frustrations that many of us have. And so here's the thing. Look, poverty is not something that you have to die in. Actually, there are clear indicators that tell us why certain people are in the 1%, certain people are in middle class, certain people are in poverty. Now, some of it has to do with inheritance. We know that that's true, especially for black people. We don't have the same inheritance as white people. But another factor that plays a role in where you end up is what you do with the money that you have. Black people have 1.1 trillion in spending power. There is no reason on this earth that black people should be struggling economically when we have 1.1 trillion. We have more money than most countries in the world. In fact, the majority of countries on this earth do not have a GDP, gross domestic product, that exceeds $1.1 trillion. So here's the thing. Here's what I want you to understand. One of the biggest factors in the gap between the rich people and everybody else comes down to stock market participation. Now, there's no guarantee of what the stock market is going to do in the future, but I wrote my dissertation on the stock market. I can actually show you. Here's my dissertation. I wrote my dissertation all about the stock market at Ohio State. It was a very, very difficult program to get into. I worked with some of the best people in the world. So I got certified. They signed it, which means that I know my stuff. I'm not making stuff up. And I want to make sure that's clear because some people think if you're black, you must not know what you're talking about. And that ain't true. I know what I'm talking about. I've taught 20 different finance classes over the years, and we've had thousands of students go through the Black Wealth Bootcamp. We have 40,000 students in the Black Business School right now. So, now do you believe me? I hope you believe me because I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to show you something that will change your life in literally 5 minutes. Now, a lot of people say that being a millionaire is something that comes down to luck, or maybe you're going to, get a record deal, or maybe you're going to get the NFL contract, or maybe Diddy's going to walk up and just make it rain on top of you and you're going to walk away rich. Becoming a millionaire really isn't that difficult if you give yourself time, if you think across generations. Now, we have a wealth building program called Black Millionaires of Tomorrow, and I talk a lot to parents. We have 3,000 kids in our program right now. Over the next decade, we want to get to 100,000. But what I've told the parents is that building wealth, wealthy people don't think just in terms of the next 2 or 3 years. They're thinking in terms of the next generation. And by participating in the stock market, at least historically, now, barring something insane happening in the economy, historically, anybody who participated in the stock market on a consistent basis always ended up having money by the time they died or by the time they got older, which meant that their children were doing better than they were. Their grandchildren were doing much better than they were. And chances are your kids will be millionaires. Now, let me show you with very basic calculations how this is possible for anybody at any financial level, any budget level. And so I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't want to hear you tell me, oh, I can afford the Jordans, but I can't afford the education. Or I can afford to go to the movies, but I can't afford to get some knowledge so I can build for my family. I can't afford to invest in the stock market. That's not true. You can buy shares of stock for as little as $1. You can buy them just like you buy pairs of shoes. One of the first videos we give students when they sign up at the Black Wealth Bootcamp is we give them a video that says how to buy your first share of stock in 10 minutes or less. It's as easy as going to the grocery store. Now, let me show you this equation. I want you to see this because I need any doubters, anybody who thinks black people are doomed to be broke or that we're doomed to play strugglenomics. I want you to see this to understand what I'm talking about. Now, let's say that all you got is $100 to invest. Now, what's $100? That won't even let you take another person to Applebee's, right? That's not even 3-4 trips to Starbucks, right? Every time I go to Starbucks, I have to spend like $7. $25, you can't get a good pair of shoes with $25 a week. You can't get a good pair of shoes a lot of times with $100 for some people. The people that like to buy the Jordans. So $100 a month is affordable for almost anybody out here. And I'm gonna show you what happens if you put $100 a month into the stock market. This is an equation. This is a calculator for an equation called the future value of an annuity formula. What does that mean? We explain it more in the Black Wealth Bootcamp, but I won't bore you with the details. I'll just say that what it tells you is it says, if I'm investing a certain amount of money on a consistent basis, and I get a certain interest rate, a certain return on my investment, which you get in the stock market. With savings accounts, you don't get returns on investment right now because the interest rate is so low. But if I get a certain return over time, then how much money will I have after a certain amount of time passes? So what you would do is you would go into this equation, this calculator. I don't know this website here. The website, let me see, easycalculation.com. So what you do is you put in the annuity amount. The annuity amount, sorry, my face disappeared for a second, but it's okay. My face might be beautiful, but you don't need to see my face right now. You need to see the information. So the annuity amount, let's say it's $100 a month. So I say, all I got is $100. I can't put nothing else for my kids. I need my $100 so I can go see the new Tyler Perry movie or whatever it is you want to do. That's fine. And then it asks you for the interest rate. Now, the interest rate is the interest per period, not per year. Now, in classes, we talk in our Black Money 101 class, things like that, we break down and explain what that means, what compound interest means. But just take my word for it that if you're talking about the interest rate per period, if it's compounded monthly, then that means you would take an annual rate and you chop it by 12. So the average rate of return on the stock market over the last, I want to say 70 or 80, actually 80 years is about, it's between 10 and 12%, 9.7% up to 14%. So let's say 12%. Let's pick a number in the middle to make the math easy. And so your interest rate per period will be 12 divided by 12, which is 1%. So 12% interest per year is 1% interest per month. And then you calculate the number of periods. Well, let's say you go out 30 years. Let's say you got a newborn baby and you want to make sure that by the time your child is 30, that they are good, that they're set financially. You're going to invest $100 a month religiously for that child, no matter what it takes. So let's see how much money you're going to have after 30 years goes by. 30 years is 360 months, and let's look at that number. Look at that. $349,496.41. Now you tell me, I'm going to bring my face back. You tell me, if you got $349,496.41 in your bank account, are you playing strugglenomics anymore? Are you broke anymore? Are you destitute anymore? Are you helpless anymore? No, you're not. No, you're not. You're doing quite well. And somebody could do that for you if you got a parent that cares enough about you, and you might be that parent, and you put that $100 a month in the stock market, and it doesn't matter which stocks you pick. Again, in class, we talk more about this. I don't want this video to be too long, but basically the theory says it doesn't matter which stocks you just randomly pick stocks. You're going to get a return of about that amount. It may be a little higher, maybe a little lower, but the general idea is that your child by the age of 30 30 still young for them. You might be old, but they're going to be young, and they may have newborn babies they're trying to feed. They may have a house that they're trying to pay a mortgage on. They may be trying to go to school. They may be trying to deal with student loans. They may be trying to get married. And think about how differently your life would be if you had $349,496.41 available to you at the age of 30 because your mama or your daddy put $100 a month into the stock market for you. Now, let me explain something to you real quick. I picked $100 a month as a low bar, as a low number. I do that because I get so many people that just don't believe in black people. They just believe that poverty is like an incurable disease. It's like herpes or some HIV. Like once you get it, you can't get out of it. It's going to kill you. You can't make it. You can't cure it. That's not true. That's not true. Poverty is curable in your life, maybe not for everybody. Now, mind you, this is a capitalist society. Poverty ain't going to get cured for everybody because everybody's not going to watch this video. You're smart because you're taking the time to listen to me right now, and I'm not going to guide you wrong. I know what I'm talking about. I hope you trust me. Do you trust me? Nod and say you trust me. Yes, you trust. Okay. All right. So let's keep going. Let's pretend like you're an ambitious parent. You know, you're not like, oh, I'm not going to do the bare minimum for my child. I'm going to do $100 a month or $200 a month for my child. Well, if you do $200 a month, let's see. Well, then the number doubles. Now your baby has $698,992.83 available to them in their bank account by the age of 30 for their 30th birthday. How cool is that? How cool is that? Let's say you want to go to $400 a month. A lot of y'all can afford this. A lot of y'all can afford it. Some of y'all spend more than $400 a month on your car note. I hope your baby's worth more than a car note. If they're not, then I feel bad for you. Look at that. Look at that number. $1.3 million. $1,397,985.65. Now, this strategy works historically. If you'd had a parent or grandparent who did this for you with $100 a month, $200 a month, or whatever back in the 1970s, you'd be balling right now. You'd be balling right. In fact, let me do this. Some of y'all might be 40 and up. So imagine if this was a consistent investment strategy for the first 40 years of your life. Let's say you didn't need the money. You let it keep growing and you kept up the tradition. And you did 40 years at $400 a month. Let's see. 40 years is 480 months. So I'm going to change that 360 to 480. Look at that. What number we got here? Look at that. Look at that number. $4,705,909. So why did I do this? Why am I doing this? Am I promising or guaranteeing anything? No, you can't guarantee nothing with the stock market. You don't know exactly what's going to happen. We only know history. And we know that historically, Warren Buffett always says that you should not invest in a stock if you're not prepared to leave your money in it for at least a decade. Because if you leave your money in it for at least a decade, then when you divide stocks into all the different asset classes between large cap stocks, small stocks, value stocks, growth stocks, all these different categories, which we talk about in the Black Wealth Bootcamp and stuff like that, then basically there's almost no category where you're going to lose money over a 10-year period. That basically time is your friend. Well, the longer you leave your money invested, the more likely it is you're going to recover. You're going to get your money back. So I don't worry about what the market did yesterday. I don't care if I lost money yesterday because I know I'm going to probably make money later. I just keep investing consistently. That's the key. The other key is you got to think long term. You got to think about your kids. Stop thinking about yourself. Think about your children. Think about your grandchildren and understand that if you follow a strategy just this basic, that your children can have as much as almost $5 million available by the time they hit the age of 40, which goes to their children. So your grandchildren are balling. They're millionaires. I don't care if you started off eating cheese sandwiches with no cheese. It doesn't matter. Your grandchildren could be millionaires. It doesn't take that long to become a grandparent. Believe me, it goes by quick. So my point in all of this is to say that when you make that consistent investment and you also bless your child with financial knowledge, you put them in programs that will teach them how to understand how money works, how to take that $5 million and flip it into 30, 40, 50 million because they're entrepreneurs and they have good investment ideas, you can create a family legacy that lasts for the next 1,000 years. You can literally create an economic empire in your family that is unlike anything you could ever imagine. So never believe anybody when they tell you that poverty is permanent, because I just showed you mathematically with very simple, very clear, concrete math, not my emotion. I am emotional. I admit that because I'm passionate about black people. But I didn't show you with my emotion. I didn't show you with just guessing. I didn't show you with my opinion. I gave you facts. I gave you numbers. If you'd done this strategy over any 30, 40-year period in American history, that's what would have happened. At the very least, you wouldn't be running around here talking about I'm broke because massa won't give me a job. You wouldn't be saying that. So that's all I want to share with you guys. I hope that this video was helpful to you. I just wanted you to have some hope. I want you to have hope. The easiest way to kill a people is to kill off their hope, because when you kill off the hope, people who don't have hope don't make plans for the future because they don't feel like they have a future. You got a future, but you got to decide that that's the future you want. I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins from the Black Wealth Bootcamp and the Black Business School. If you want to learn more, we do have a great class, theBlackWealthBootcamp.com. It's a class that I teach. Everybody loves it. It's the best business class you'll ever take in your life. We teach black people how to build. So please feel free to check out theBlackWealthBootcamp.com. I'm gone. Take care. Have a wonderful day. Peace.